Here we are at the NYOS booth, which is right next to the Ecotech booth here at Macna. And we have some pretty exciting news and something that we want to share with the greater reef keeping community here. Ecotech Marine distributes NYOS brand products in the United States, and one of the most exciting things since we were able to bring in the skimmers, the test kits, and the liquid additives and salts is now it looks like we will actually be able to start providing the reefing community with NYOS foods. NYOS foods have been around in Germany for some time now and are a favorite amongst reef hobbyists in Germany, but it takes time to get the necessary approvals. So as of Friday, we received FDA approval to bring in the NYOS food line into the United States. And this is something which I'm personally very excited at, because I've been using the NYOS food in my own tank for quite a while now. We have Christian here, all the way from Germany.
Hello.
Stuttgart, right?
Yes, right, south of Germany.
I've been using this food in my tank for some time, and what we have here, right, is basically a line of liquid fish foods and a line of dried fish foods, and then we have some coral food.
Yes, right. So yeah, like you said, we have the liquid foods. We call them liquid plankton. So the special thing about those is that they are preserved, so you don't have to put them in your refrigerator, and they can just be placed in your cabinet, and yeah, you can directly add them.
So these are all you don't have to refrigerate them before or after you open them?
No, even after you open them, you do not have to refrigerate them.
And they're and they have a shelf life once they're open of about 3 months, you said?
Yes, right. So once you open them, we recommend to use them within 3 months. But even after 3 months, they are not getting rotten, but the amount of vitamins inside will decrease.
So what are they?
So it's 3 different types. So this is hand-caught Aminos from Norway, and the guy who catches them, he made his doctor thesis out of how to preserve the cells of the Aminos, and so that all the vitamins and the fatty acids stay inside the cells of the Aminos. So,
very cool.
And the other ones are basically the same method, but it's different types of plankton. So we have mysis in this one here, and this one here is with Artemia. So it's also again whole pieces, and this one is as well enriched with garlic, and some vitamins are added to it.
Do they have any particular, is there any particular preference for type of fish, for the type of food?
So the gold pots is best for orange fish, like your flame angel or clownfish or squammy penis, because the astaxanthins are increasing the reddish or orange color of the fish. And
then the others are more just generic food?
Yes, right. So it depends on the fish. Some fish prefer Aminos, some prefer mysis. So you have a bit different types of food for your fish.
I obviously don't have particularly foodie fish, because my fish pretty much eat all of it. Although they certainly, especially finicky eaters, seem to like the gold pods, especially when they're they're new in the tank. Which then leads us on, I guess, into these dry foods here. And we have what exactly?
So the special thing about the dry foods is that they're 100% organic. So we have it's the EU organic certificate, and it's supposed to be the first ornamental fish food in the EU which got the organic certificate. And yeah, organic, that makes sure that there are no GMOs, pesticides inside, and yeah, that you have really, yeah, let's say, pure materials, raw materials.
So we have here a sweet aloe.
Yes, right. So this one is with aloe vera. So aloe vera is antibacterial. So this is like the base food for all fish. And then we have this is wild goji. It has a high amount of astaxanthins and vitamins, which comparable to the gold pods, increase the color of the red fish. And this one is the algae food. So this is mainly for algae-eating fish like tanks and yeah, all the fish which prefer algae.
What you want to be feeding every day, a couple times a day, a couple times a week? What do you recommend? So
I would recommend to feed as much as the fish are eating. So just add a bit into your tank and wait if the fish are eating everything or if it falls to the ground. And when you see that the fish are not eating anymore, then stop with the feeding. And yeah, in general, we recommend to feed your fish like twice a day.
Twice a day?
Yeah.
But not more than they can eat in a 10 to 15 second period?
Yeah, right. So make sure that it does not fall to the ground, because everything which is on the ground won't be eaten by the fish and will just increase your nitrate and phosphate levels.
So then what we have over here is the coral foods, and I think maybe we start with the dried foods first.
Yeah.
And we have an LPS power and an instant plankton.
Yeah, right. So LPS power is, like the name says, food for large polyp stone corals. You can feed your scolymias or acants with it, and it's also like the dry fish foods. It's organic certified, and this is also concentrated energy for the corals. So you can also use this as coral food, and this is more the natural food for the LPS corals.
So LPS will eat gold pods, and then they'll also eat pellets.
Yeah.
Presumably,
yeah.
That's a spot feeding.
Yeah, right.
So you need to make sure that they're getting that food. I'm guessing use a dropper is the preferred
exactly,
method
yeah.
for
so target feeding is the way you go.
And I've heard it's possible to overfeed your coral or your LPS. Is that true?
Yeah. So for fish, it's simple. You will see if they are eating too much, and but for corals, it's difficult to see if they are overfed or not. So we recommend to feed your corals like 2 times a week. Because the risk is that if you're feeding too much, the metabolism of the coral is not strong enough to consume all the food, and then it will rotten inside the coral, and this can cause like necrosis of the coral tissue.
So if you see, if you're feeding a lot and everything else looks good, but you start to see the coral receding, then you might actually be overfeeding that LPS coral.
Yeah.
Because it's not breaking down that, it's not consuming that food.
It's, right.
Interesting.
But if you're feeding the coral like twice a week, you should be on the safe side. So this is no problem.
Excellent. And then obviously, so then the instant plankton, which is this powder, is the SPS equivalent.
It's more for the polyps, polyps, soft corals, and mushrooms. The special thing is that it is very small. It has a size of less than 50 micron, and it creates air clusters. So if you put it in your tank, it won't fall down. It stays very long in the water column. So it's very long available for your corals. And on the one hand, it feeds your corals, and on the other hand, it also feeds your natural plankton.
Oh, wow.
So you will see, for example, if you have some live rocks in your sump, you will see that the population of mysis and artemia will really increase.
And that's also where the absolute aminos come in, right? You use this product with that product.
Yeah, we recommend to mix the absolute aminos with the instant plankton, so you can enrich the coral food with the amino acids, and so you have a nitrogen source as well inside the food. So
how much of this do you mix with how much of that?
So you can just add some drops until you have a suspension, and you can, just that you have a suspension, and then you can add.
So you want more of a liquid than a paste?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mix it together, and then you add that into the tank.
Yeah.
You presumably want to turn off your protein skimmer, your filtration, or anything like that while you're doing this?
Yes. So if you add this, it's good to turn off your protein skimmer for around 1 to 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Excellent. And then the coral nectar?
So the coral nectar is a special SPS food. It contains preserved oyster eggs, and oyster eggs have the perfect size for the SPS polyps, and it's also enriched with vitamins. So if the SPS coral eats the oyster egg, it directly gets the vitamins for the cells.
Very cool. So this whole line then, basically, with what you have here, you're completely covered from A to Z with your food for your reef tanks.
Yeah, so it feeds all your fish and all your corals.
So we have soft coral, we have fish, we have hard coral. I believe that's the wrong one. Hard coral.
Yes, right.
And then we have polyps like your Recordia and mushrooms with the instant plankton
combined.
Oh, that's really awesome. Like I said, I've actually been using the fish foods, and now I have a much better understanding of how to use this. I'm really excited that we're going to be able to distribute this in the U.S. and make it available to everyone, so everyone can see how it works for themselves and see how much their fish are going to love it. Fish and coral are going to love it. And again, I think one of the greatest things is the fact that you don't have to refrigerate the liquid foods. That's just amazing. It's like feeding frozen food without actually having to feed frozen food.
Yeah.
So
it's very convenient.
Very convenient, which when we're busy is obviously a major advantage. So awesome. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate it.
Well, I wanna let you know my mind is made up and I wanna go. And I've been thinking about what to do. Been thinking about me about.
So I always start with so. It's terrible. It's taken 2 years, or